Hello and welcome everyone. This is the USA to Hungary podcast, season 2. I'm Panka, I'm from Hungary, and I've been in a relationship for over 2 years now with my wonderful and amazing boyfriend from Texas. If you're watching or listening to this on YouTube, then you might wonder, okay, what did I miss? Where's season 1? Well, then check out the USA to Hungary podcast on Anchor or on Spotify. I hope you'll enjoy the content I create. Let's not waste more time and let's jump into today's topic. Before Michael, I've never really had the chance, neither, to be honest, the want, to live alone, all by myself or with my partner, with my best friend. Throughout the first 20 years of my life, I lived at home with my family. Mom, dad, big sister, little brother, turtle. I never had to worry about if I will have dinner, if I will have a place to sleep, or some clothes to wear the next day. I always had food on my plate, roof above my head, and money. First pocket money, then actual salary in my wallet. And so I didn't really feel the need to grow up. I mean, obviously, I was a grown-up, at least about 18, but it was mostly just on paper, and it kind of only meant that I could go to university, I could spend the money I have on entertainment, like dinner with friends or going out, maybe going to the cinema once or twice, and then my parents were less strict about where I'm going and when. I had to learn to manage my own time and my own money, but still it wasn't really growing up. I didn't have to manage the weekly shopping, I only had to clean my own room, I didn't have to cook, thankfully though, as I'm not a very good cook and I don't like spending time in the kitchen. So in a nutshell, I didn't have to learn how to be and stay alive completely on my own. I was an adult on paper, but while I was living at home, all the rules were made by the heads of this home, my parents, which meant I was still their daughter. I was still kind of a kid. They told me when to go to bed, when to come to eat lunch or dinner with them, and although it was me who addressed when will I be home when I went out, but that time was sacred. Once I promised, I had to keep it, and still had to ring them at some point just to tell them I was still alive. So before, or throughout these 20 years, I could only concentrate on how stupid rules were. I'm not a big fan of rules, at least I wasn't. I hated that there were people who told me when to do this and when to do that. I didn't understand why did I have to sleep early when I'm not even tired. I didn't understand why did I have to eat breakfast when I just didn't want to because I wasn't hungry. And I didn't understand why did I have to call them every once in a while when I'm going out with my friends to just let them know that, hey, I'm still alive. I didn't understand them and I didn't like them at all. I'm not saying that I was a rebellious teen or a rebellious young adult. I just wasn't comfortable with all the rules. I just didn't like rules, but I suppose I'm not alone with this. And then January of 2020 came, or well, not in January because January was a mess for us. But let's say from March 2020, Michael got his own apartment, and Corona came, so we kind of it kind of messed things up. I couldn't go to university anymore, and I couldn't go to work anymore, and we couldn't like meet every weekend or every second weekend. So we decided to establish this new order about how we live and our visits and everything. And we decided to spend more time together and more time alone. Like the one I've talked about before. So that like I spent 2 or 3 weeks at home and 2 or 3 weeks with Michael. And throughout those 3 weeks that we spent together, we were completely alone. When I first kind of moved in with him, when we first spent a long time together, just the two of us living together. Well, it was my first week ever to live with someone else, to live on my own, because it's something very different. Living with your parents or your siblings, living with someone superior, and living with a person your age, living with your partner who's also a youngster. And needless to say that the first week or first few weeks were chaotic, literally. Like we didn't go to bed before 3 a.m. and didn't wake up before like 11 in the morning or 12 in the morning. Um, we skipped breakfast when we wanted to. We went out almost every night. We I don't know. We were we acted like crazy. There were no rules. I don't want to go in details because there's a slight chance that my parents are listening to this show, and I don't think they need to hear what did we do during the first few weeks. But yeah, it was crazy and it was chaotic, and yeah, we literally acted like kids or like teenagers, and we loved it. And so we thought that adulthood means the complete freedom, a complete freedom, the freedom of choices. And it's kind of true. Yeah, I would say yes, adulthood partly means the freedom of choices. And so this happened for a week or two, and then we calmed down because you can eat ice cream for breakfast every day, but after a while it will just get boring. And so we calmed down. We realized that, yeah, it can work. Like, we can live together. We are all alone. We can do whatever we want. Um, and we started to accommodate to each other because, obviously in a long distance relationship, we couldn't really um, we didn't really know about each other's daily life. Like, yes, we knew that, okay, he goes to work at 8 a.m. or he goes to bed at, I don't know, 11 p.m. or at this time of the day he's eating or something. But we never really experienced it before, obviously, because we weren't in the same place. And as we moved in together, we had to find out and figure it out. And we both had a daily routine individually, but now we had to make these two different daily routines come together. Like, we had to accommodate to each other, and we had to create a whole new daily routine for the both of us. And we realized, while making this common daily routine, we realized that rules are important, and the rules that you're making for yourself and by yourself are good. What does that mean? As I said, being rebellious in this chaotic thing, it became very boring very quickly, and it wasn't healthy, it wasn't good for us, and yeah, we got bored. Like, as I said, we could go to bed at 3 a.m. and we could wake up at like noon the next day, but it meant that we literally wasted a whole half of the day. Or we can skip breakfast, but then it will completely ruin our, mm, our routine of eating. Like, we will be very hungry around noon, so we eat at noon because we are hungry. But then, I don't know, we're hungry at 6 p.m., so we have to make a quick dinner at 6 p.m., and then we are gonna be very hungry at, I don't know, at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. So it will be very, very messed up. And so we decided to, okay, maybe we're not sticking to breakfast together, because especially for now, like, Michael went back to work and I'm still at home, because I can't go in university. And so, okay, then we don't have a common breakfast or like a breakfast together. But when he gets home, we will have a quick lunch. And every night we're cooking something together for dinner around 7 or 8 p.m. And we kind of established this I don't know, food routine. I don't know, it's kind of a bad word for it, but yeah, you understand. And as with food or as with bedtime, we established our own little rules. They're not very strict. We made them up for ourselves. So, like, you can imagine, it's not like my childhood rules or my childhood daily routine. Um, but it's still important to stick with these rules, and we do stick with them. As so we learned that adulthood is not only freedom, but it also means responsibility, being able to take care of yourself and your environment and your partner. So, adulthood is, yes, it's the freedom of choices, but it also means that now, from now on, you have responsibility for yourself and for another person you're living with and for your environment. Because, yeah, from now on, you have to make your own food, you have to care for the shopping, you have to care for the house, you have to, I don't know, take out the trash or do the laundry or just keep your environment nice and clean and healthy. And it can be very, very difficult. There are parts of it that I don't like, and sometimes when I go home, I'm just so relieved that they're not my problems anymore. Because, for example, food here is very, very, very expensive, and I don't say that like we can't afford I don't know, meat on a daily basis or bread on a daily basis. Um, but I mean, we have to consider if we buy this or that or not. And I don't like this aspect. For example, I don't like doing the dishes. I'm sorry. I don't know if there are people who like doing the dishes, but as I'm not cooking, but Michael is cooking, then it's my task to wash up the dishes, or while he's doing the laundry, I have to sweep the floor. So obviously, it's very it's it can be difficult and it can be tiring to take care of your own house, but that's adulthood as well, and it feels so much better when after a day of cleaning. First, it's a bonding time. It's quality time that we spend together when we clean together or when we cook together or everything. And after a day of cleaning, it just feels so good and feels so nice that yes, this is the place where I'm living, and and it smells nice, and it looks nice, and it's organized, and we can invite guests over anytime, and they will like the apartment as well. It's just a good feeling, I believe, to live in a nice environment and knowing that you made this environment nice. And so we also learned that rules are not burdens and not barriers or limits, especially if you make it yourself and by yourself. Rules are important. And during childhood and during the teenage years and the young adultness, while you are living with your parents, it's not obvious and rules are not fun. But as soon as you move out and as soon as you're trying to live on your own, you realize that rules are not that bad. Rules are actually important, and it's good to have rules. And another aspect of growing up, because growing up it doesn't stop with your own life and with your little bubble, with your little apartment and your daily life and stuff. It also means being able to manage your own bureaucratical stuff. And I had to learn it the hard way because before I hated managing all this stuff. Like, I got sick when I had to call someone whom I didn't know, or even someone whom I knew, but still who was a professional. I always asked my mom to make me appointments to the doctor or to call someone officially for in my name. I hated when, I applied for a job and I couldn't manage it through email, but they gave me a phone number to call them. I hated phone calls, literally. Um, and so I didn't like going into offices. I remember when I first had to go to the bank to make my own bank account to get a bank card. Oh my God, that was a nightmare basically because it was my very first um, time when I was alone and when I had to manage something official, something that I've never done before. I brought every paper that needed. I talked to my mom for hours about what's gonna happen, and still like the lady was very, very nice. I was probably not the only one who went there alone for the first time. Like I was probably not the only one who was very, very shy and very, very afraid of what's gonna happen there. So she was very, very kind with me, but still, like, she asked questions that I couldn't answer. I There was one point when I was like, it literally happened that she asked if I wanted something with my bank account, and I stopped and I was like, okay, wait a minute, I have to call my mom to ask if I want this. And I literally called my mom, and there was a point where I almost was just like, okay, so hang on, mom, I'm gonna give the phone to the lady at the counter, and I let you to manage it. But obviously it doesn't work like this, so I try to be an adult, and I try to manage my own business, but still it was back then it felt like a nightmare, and looking back it felt like, I don't know, a very, very surreal comedy or something like that. But anyways, no, it's just a little bit of insight on how I hate managing official stuff. I was too shy. I just didn't want to be a part of the process. So wherever I had to go, whatever I had to do, I was just like, I'm bringing everything you need. I'm just, I'm just a delivery girl, and I don't know what's going on. I'm just giving it to you so I can get something else from it, and that's it. I was just listening and nodding and didn't understand anything. And then Michael happened, and I remember that we had to manage a lot of bureaucratic stuff. For example, the first time where we went to the immigration office, there were two other people, two other adults with us. So it was kind of okay. Like, I didn't have to do anything. I was just there to support them. And, well, just plus one person who speaks Hungarian and English as well. So it was kind of smooth. But then we had to, when he moved here to his current town, and when he got his papers and his permanent visa and everything, we had to manage doctor's appointment for him, and we had to manage healthcare, the little healthcare card for him. And then we had no helpers. Well, like, we were on our own completely. Like, they told us, the school and Michael's contact, she told us what to do or where to go, or what kind of papers should we bring, but it was on our own. And apparently it was me who had to manage all of this for him, because he doesn't speak our language, and apparently in his town nobody speaks his language except me. So no matter that I wasn't qualified, no matter I was just a 20-year-old girl, no matter I've never done stuff like this before, and no matter I wasn't qualified for this, yeah, and I just wasn't a fan of bureaucracy, apparently it had to be me who helps him and is doing all this stuff for him. So we got a deep breath, and we had to manage it. I hated it. I'm not gonna lie, I hated it. I didn't want it. It was a burden. It was something that I just wished I didn't have to do. But we had to, because it was our thing. It was his thing, to be honest. And we were adults, so we couldn't expect anyone to do it instead of us. So I bit my lip, and I held my head up high, and I said, okay, let's get through this, let's do this. And I'm still not saying that it was something good. I still don't say that I'm happy to do this all the time, and I'm still not saying that I want to do this again, but it was useful, to be honest, because I gained a lot of bravery and self-confidence. So I'm able to make phone calls now, even though I still practice before I pick up the phone and before I call someone. I'm an active listener now. I try to understand what people are trying to say to me, and I ask back if something's not clear to me. I'm not afraid anymore of, I'm not afraid that they will think that I'm stupid just because I don't know this and that. I'm self-confident in being a beginner. in managing all this stuff. So that's it. And if someone doesn't like it, then I don't care. I dare to participate now, and I'm not just the delivery girl. But yeah, I'm an active part of the process. And although, I still don't like it, I take a deep breath and then just let it be. Okay, let's manage that stuff and let's get a doctor's appointment and let's do the healthcare card and everything. And this was another part or like aspect of growing up. And so I think this is it for today's topic. It was a little bit longer than I expected. But yeah, growing old, oh my God, growing up is something that is currently happening with us. And it's a very interesting journey. It's very hard. It's very painful sometimes, and I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of growing up. But still, on the other hand, it's good to be able to live on my own. And it's good to know that now they can drop me anywhere. I will survive because I grew up, or I started to grow up. And we will see. It doesn't matter. It's a lifelong journey growing up, I believe. And we will see where this all will lead us. Anyways, thank you for listening today. Thank you for clicking on this video or clicking on this episode. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I could provide you some, I don't know, useful information on how does it feel to grow up. If you have any thoughts about it, if you want to tell me your growing up story, or if you have something similar story, please comment down below. I love reading the comments, and yeah, like this video if you liked it, and if you like the content I create, then please hit that subscribe button and hit the bell too, so you will get notified when I get new videos out there. Listen to me on Spotify or Anchor or here in YouTube, wherever. And if you really like what I create, then I have a coffee page where you can support me with one virtual coffee, and I would be very grateful, but no pressure. If you speak Hungarian, I have a blog for you. I will link it down in the description, so check it out definitely. And as always, I'm still open for conversations. I've had a couple of guests in the first season, and it was a lot of fun meeting with all these amazing people. You can check all these episodes out on Anchor or on Spotify. And so if you have a story to tell me, and if you feel like that you can connect to these topics, then I will put my email address down below in the description, so you can reach me there. All my socials are there too. I'm on Twitter and Instagram because apparently I like sharing. And thank you so much for listening today. I will see you all very soon, and up until then, stay strong.